What's up guys, welcome back. Challenger appears, Cross-Banlist Cup. Next up we have XX-SABERs. XX-SABERs from back in 2010. You might remember this deck, right? With Pre-Errata XX-SABER Dark Soul. As you know, Dark Soul got an errata a couple of years, I guess, after this deck. Can't remember the correct year, but now it's basically, it only triggers once per turn. Well, I mean, in the end phase, right? It's basically a second for the archetype. But as you know, Pre-Errata, the same X-SABER Dark Soul was able to trigger multiple times every time it was sent to the graveyard, like, you know, reborn it, use it for a synchro summon, and then fall troll, for example, or monster reborn it back to the field, and then again use it for like a synchro summon, or tribute it for, let's say, Cotoms to rip a card from your opponent's hand. You're able to get multiple searches off of the same Dark Soul. Again, for every time it was sent to the graveyard, and after the errata, that wasn't possible anymore. So this is a list from 2010, should be, yeah, because again, Solemn Warning was a fairly new card back then. Royal Oppression, I believe, was semi-limited at the time, and quickly after that, it was either limited or banned. I mean, pretty much like 2011, I think. The deck is pretty straightforward. It's not really that hard of a deck. You have cards like Emmer's Blade, which is basically a Mystic Tomato for the archetype. You know, like when Destroy by Battle, search something from the deck. Depends, you could go for Full Hell Knight, which has the ability to negate an attack once when it's like on the field, and that's what happens here. Other options, maybe Boggart Knight to give you the extra summon from the hand, like you see here, but Boggart Knight only triggers upon normal summon. The reason why this archetype back then was pretty much the best deck, it was like the same age with Infernities, Synchro Infernities 2010. One of the reasons why this deck was so strong is that it was very much control based, but it could also OTK out of, well, can I say out of nowhere? With like Fall Troll, giving the ability to extend or overextend your field, reborning something, extending your place, and let's not forget, the archetype has access to Cotoms, right? The level 9 synchro that can like confiscations, or no, it's at random. Your opponent has to discard one card, so again at random. So anyway, rambling. So Pashul, what is it called? Reinforced Truth. Yeah, that's a trap card, a very old trap, by the way, that has the ability to, well, so you can of course chain it to an opponent's disruption, and it special summons like Pashul from the deck. It's a level 2 tuner with like a Spirit Reaper or like effect, so it cannot be destroyed by a battle, and I believe it's like during every semi-phase from your opponent you get like 1000 damage, but that's not important. The most important thing is it's of course a level 2 tuner, and it opens up a potential level 8 synchro play with like Yugioh, for example, or what's it called, Fall Troll, but most importantly, it gives the deck the ability to go for a Turia Beast, so again, Dark Soul, and of course Pashul being an Earth tuner. So yeah, Naturia Beast, instant game card, should be like an instant game card against a deck like Shadow's. This should be like the Starscraft Shadow engine. I don't think I have to fear like any back row threats, so immediately go for Yugioh and, you know, Harpy's Feather the Sir away. I believe you can target up to 3 back rows from the opponent. Going second this time against like a Master Rule 5 deck, and we are speaking like about 2010, so the hand traps were pretty much non-existent. DD Crow, but I don't think it was I don't think it was side decked back then, like 2010. I might be wrong, but I've seen like side decks and it wasn't there. I've seen like Volcanic Queen, like people side decking that one. I think Valor, not really sure about the correct year when Valor was revealed, but I've seen Valor popping up in like side decks. But that was from lists from 2011, so I'm not really sure about the correct year when Effect Valor was first released. But yeah, that's a problem. Dark Hole would have been cool, but Trishla says no. And then you have like the, what is it called, the Crocosaurus giving you like multiple draws as well. So yeah, there's nothing really I can do. True King of all Calamities, 2 sets calling Earth, I think. But yeah, I can basically scoop up my cards here. The Overtake, oh yeah, Dark Hole again would not have mattered because of the Overtake. So there's just nothing I can do about this. And this is one of the duels that you can perfectly showcase decks, like to summon and say, well, this is power creep. Power creep in a nutshell. A deck from 2010 versus a deck from 2020. So 10 years of a difference between both these decks. But again, X-Sabers back then, definitely one of the power decks, if not the best deck back in 2010, a piece of 2011 as well. But super control-based deck had the ability to like play Royal Oppression in the main deck because it dodged like, again, as you know, Raw Oppression cannot activate during the like damage step, so you can search out with Emmer's Blade and you know, go full control based and pretty much prevent your opponent from playing the game thanks to Royal Oppression. Gold Wave, like also one of those nostalgic cards, ridiculous cards. You have to activate it at the start of your main phase 1, but again, it prevents you and your opponent from like activating spells or setting spells and traps during your turn when Gold Wave was activated and during your opponent's turn as well. So basically blocking Cleaveforts out of the duel. The only thing they can do is like normal summon like a Cleavefort monster. Negating the attack indeed doesn't matter. I know it's unaffected by monster effects with like a lower or equal or lower level, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't that important. Most important thing here is then getting out Naturia Beast, prevent again the Pendulum deck from playing and activating the spells, and getting Gotham's on the field, Gotham's emergency call as well, like a big call of the Haunted for the archetype. But it's basically like multiple, reborning multiple Dark Soul, tributing them for Gotham's, ripping your opponent's hand apart. Next up, next match, Salads. So this should be an okay matchup. Well, yeah, it's Salads, right? I mean, it's a deck from this particular list was from 2019. So in theory, I should actually have the disadvantage. But this opening turn was okay. Full Troll can be activated once per turn, so it can be used if it survives, right? Next turn. The Solemn Warning definitely helped out keeping me in the duel because, again, getting off a Gazelle is a huge problem. But my opening turn was good, but no Dark Soul, and that's a problem. I want to get Dark Soul in my graveyard as quickly as possible, get those beneficial searches right. But yeah, now no really plus. There's not really any pluses. Full Troll, I think, is going. No, it's not going to survive. Yeah, okay, Transco Talker, and yeah, the Sunlight Wolf. Stardust survives, but again, no plays, no pluses. Dark Hole is quite useless here in this situation because, again, Gazelle in hands. But I can keep up the pressure high and try to pop the field spell, but get blown away by the Impermanence. And now the game feels it's pretty much over. I kind of needed another warning or another judgment to prevent the Gazelle from triggering right. But now, yep, Pre-Banlist Mirage, Stelio, Salmon Grades searching out like, well, yeah, this is basically like Salads, right? I mean, that's the reason why I guess Mirage Stelio got banned. Bouncing back, one of the synchros I believe was Scrap Dragon, and yeah, Heatleo is going to eventually attack over Stardust Dragon, and that's basically game. Next matchup we have here is against Synchrocat, so Synchrocat from 2009, so that was 1 year before this particular deck. Both decks feel very similar. Then again, like Synchrocat is somewhat based on Dead, so Dark Arm Dragon as well. Also has access to the same cards, pretty much like Cold Wave, I believe Royal Oppression as well, but yeah, whatever, right? So normal summon Borgonite, trying to get the extra summon, and I get the Bottomless Trap will prevent the Full Troll from coming out. Again, Full Troll needs like 2 face-up X-Saber monsters on your side of the field, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, if it wasn't for Book of Moon, I would not have been able to get the 2 X-Saber monsters on my side of the field. So that's why cards like Book of Moon were like at 2 or 3 maybe together with enemy controller to put your opponent's monster in defense position so you could destroy it with your full Hell Knight and get the monster reborn effect. So keep the pressure high. Yeah, double Dark Armed, not that fantastic here in this situation. Not having the necessary targets in the graveyard, right? So Cyber Dragon, that's cute, but against the big Gothams, that's not going to help out. And this should be the duel, right? Okay, yeah, Full Troll reborning and a Dark Soul for the potential end phase search. And yep, this is indeed more than enough to attack for a game. So last matchup, we have Spellbooks, but yeah, going second, Effect Filler would have helped. Then again, there also already has secrets in the hand, so what can I do? This is again Spellbooks from 2013, featuring the famous Spellbook of Judgment. And yeah, the Jogen. preventing special summons, so that keeps me with... well, first of all, I need to like random Typhoon here, hopefully hitting the Spellbook of Fate, but it doesn't matter because I can't get rid of Chogun, and yeah, the Spellbook of Judgment just gave the Spellbook deck so much advantage, and you can just do the same, like, you know, Secrets, Wisdom, and so on. Master, not Wisdom, but Master. I think I have Mirror Force set, and not really sure my other set. Trap Stun, yeah. I do Mirror Force here. There was obviously the potential. Yeah, Solemn, okay, I get Solemn, and keeping Wisdom, you know, just keep your 2 beat sticks on the field, and if there's a potential Dark Hole, you can just keep the Wisdom for that next turn. The Kaiku is not that important, but keeping Shogun on the field is of course much more important compared to Kaiku here in this situation. But again, no chance against a deck like Spellbooks from 2013. The big power creep compared to this deck from 2010. So this is X-Sabers, Pre-Errata X-Saber Dark Soul, getting the multiple searches during the end phase, Royal Oppression, and some other delicious banned cards. So if you have any like suggestions for these Challenger Appearance series, like always, feel free to leave them down below. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Leave them signing out. Peace.